Sneh doesn't want me to run his company, so he asked me to swap the seats. So quickly, thanks for coming all the way from Mumbai. I appreciate it, taking the time.
Thank you.
Would like to start off by asking about your product. And I'm not saying a toy. I'm saying a product because I know you're a deep tech product in although people, kids use it. Just quick 1 minute. Hello? Yeah, because is the mic working? Yeah. So what I was asking was, I'll call your company that building a deep tech product, although it's a toy, because kids use it. But would love to, for the sake of the audience, quick 1 minute or 2 minute introduction to your company and where you are in your process.
So, very good evening, everyone. I'm Sneh Vasvani. We run a deep tech consumer brand called Miko that started in 2015, and it's an Indian story gone global. If you have kids around you, you would know that childhood has seen a massive change in the past 2 decades. And the children's social emotional levels today has significantly dropped year on year through multiple factors in different societies, be it in US, India, global markets, and so on. So we felt, can we build an ecosystem that is able to understand, assess, improve, and report back SEL metrics to their parents? It comes as a consumer product which you can buy off the shelf, and this product is AI powered, it's emotionally intelligent, can engage, educate, and entertain a child, and then report the metrics back to a parent for them to take informed decisions in their parenting. So some of you must be very well aware about it. It's Miko, the consumer robot. It's a cute consumer robot that is growing as a companion with the child and plays a very strong role in giving data-driven insights to parents. It sells very well in 140 plus countries. We are currently the #1 consumer robot in the US in terms of volume, in terms of user base and revenue as well. So it's a fast growing category. We've been growing 2x year on year. And right now, as of last year, we crossed $28 million in revenue, have an install base of 250,000 robots globally. This year, we are adding 500,000 new robots at homes across the globe. US is our main market from all the major markets in which we operate. So that's more about Miko. Thank you.
Awesome. I'm sure you have enjoyed building your company so far, and it'll be a great journey going forward as well. Quick question. So since this panel is all about scaling, we'll get to the part of the journey where you started scale, right? Because I'm sure 2015 till the point you decided to go global or scale, there are a lot of stories in there. But at what point did you decide that your company is prime to go global, and what are the key decisions behind that?
So I think the goal was always to go global from day one, but the journey for that had to be thought through properly. Deep tech companies and deep tech products have a gestation period of building the product. So the first 2.5 years we spent in building the product with absolutely no revenue. And the team on conviction did 23 product pilots across 50,000 plus kids, and then got the product ready to bring it to the market. Being techies, gradually bringing in designers, teachers, artists, mathematicians, and putting a product team together. We didn't know as well how to sell things. So 1 year, literally, we were doing door-to-door selling in Bombay, just like AquaGuard, Eureka, Forbes guys used to come at home and show the water purifiers almost 15 years ago. That's what we did in 2017 to 2018. Even Alexa was not present in the country at that point of time. So people had no experience of voice-activated devices at that point of time. Then once we got the first generation out, which was a market tester, we got it into retail, we got it online, understood value chain. Once you see cash cycling through like traders, you borrow money, you build it, you sell it, you recover your margins, and you give back the cash. You do the cycle 2-3 times. You understood the value chain. That's when you start looking at your actual market. So if we had replicated the same journey in the US, we must have spent maybe $20 million to get there. We went from a whiteboard concept to retail in less than $1 million, and then gradually decided that now let's raise capital and go for the market where we want to go to, that's the US.
So to get to the US market, you said one of the key decisions was, of course, understanding how to sell your product, and you got that in India. And you decided to go to the US, and you told the investors that you're raising capital to expand in the US market?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what are the key challenges you thought you had to solve as you got to the US market, and who are the key hires you had to make to start your US operations?
That's a great question. And I think I'll speak more about the story with the investors in the early stages and at a later point. But to address your question on the key challenges while entering the US market, we all have been born and brought up in India. Our mindset is very similar to understand the challenges in India. Ability to understand the mindset of an American consumer and ensuring that your value proposition aligns with that consumer at a very cultural level is a very fundamental product problem to solve. And there are no clear principles to this product management process on how do you go about cultural alignment for your product with international geographies. So you put in principles in place iteratively to try to get there, run multiple betas, track NPS levels, and then gradually deploy your product in that respective market. Over a period of time, our entire product structure and the product management process has also evolved. We've done mistakes, we've improved. So now our product head is someone who's born and brought up in the US, writes the product requirement documents there, but the entire execution happens in India. The product managers are here. Product managers going forward have to be parents. They have to understand a child. They have to understand the journey of what it is to raise a child, and at the same time, preferably mothers for that matter. And at the same time, they have a sense of the needs of the American parent. So they are spending time with the product head to understand what is the American mother or father thinking, and then building the product in that direction. So this mindset has evolved over the past 4 years.
And so what was your first channel, right? Because in the US, obviously, you need to determine, since you're not selling to enterprises and you're selling to consumers directly, you have to have a channel, right? Because you could not potentially do door to door that you did in India.
Yes.
So how did you decide on who your first channel is? And post getting that, what was your strategy to get more channels on board to expand to your 750K consumers today?
That's a great question. When we were in India, we were a retail heavy company. 80% of our business was coming in from stores. We didn't understand e-commerce as much because category creation had to be done in India as a concept. Telling Indians in 2017, go and buy a consumer robot was still a lot of evolution for a consumer at that time. In the US, the category was well established and we didn't have e-commerce capabilities. Right now, for Indian brands, it's much easier to leverage Amazon and other seller teams from India who will take you to the US and so on. But for us, you typically have the journeys of Kickstarters and Indiegogos. We didn't go that way because the CMO we onboarded in the US was someone who was a veteran in e-commerce and he had spent 2 decades on e-commerce in the US. So we wanted to build in-house capabilities in e-commerce and we started selling on our website with a lot of because Kickstarters and Indiegogos did not give tracking tools for you to build up a proper performance funnel going forward. And we wanted to build the data history and build it from there, do it the right way, build the e-commerce team in the US. And you will be surprised to know that what we did in an entire financial year in India in the previous year, we launched in the US in 2019. What we did in Indian financial year in 2018, we did in the US in 4 hours as a business. So on our website, today our website is one of a very strong medium of sales in the US and outside the US. We're selling in multiple currencies and different geographies. People come and shop on our website, and we feel in the long run, your website and your own channel should vertically be built up. That should take 20-30% of your sales.
But even if you were to build your own website, which is a great idea, but how did you drive traffic to the website, right? Because we always hear stories of marketing spend and other things to get people to come to your website. So how did you solve that problem? Because that is not what you did in India. So when you went to the US to start to scale, what did you do to encourage traffic to come to your website?
The conventional way where most consumer brands tend to lose money, we started running a lot of Facebook and Google ads about us. Initially, we thought the Indians over there will sympathize with us and buy the product. Ultimately, that wasn't the case. It was the Caucasians and the Americans who were shopping. So we learned along the way, and conventional performance marketing was enough for the first year of scale. But then very soon we understood the concept of brand awareness. Right now, today, we spend almost $15 million in marketing in the US, where we run TV ads, billboards. We're there on Times Square. If you're traveling to New York, you'll find Miko ads on Times Square in the US. It's the only Indian brand currently advertising on Times Square right now. So, thank you. So we realized the importance of awareness, and we saw that you need to create awareness in kids. They will go and nag their parents, where you drive performance spends, and then the sales will happen. This entire consumer journey, after getting some great advisors on board, we revamped our marketing strategy from year 1 in 2019 to 2021, 2022, and even now, that has been honed and improved, and our CAC levels have kept coming down overall.
Cool. And I hope you'll advertise on Super Bowl one of these days, right?
Absolutely.
Because that is when you know that you have arrived. So in terms of, I know you're selling in 140 countries, like you said, right? But how are you handling this manufacturing supply chain issues? Because once you deploy to consumers, you have to deal with a lot of issues that come with consumers because you get a lot of calls. So can you just shed some light on your supply chain and how are you providing support for your consumers at the global scale?
I think extreme non-linear execution is what I would coin it as. It was 2021, January 2021, we got a call from Costco saying we want to place an order for your new SKU that's coming out. That was 2 times the entire business we did in the previous financial year, one channel asking for that. They said, if you give us a sample in June, we'll place the order, and for this year, for Christmas, you're in. And Costco was the first time that we were talking with Costco and so on, and we got super excited. We had cash in the bank only for building 1 product and not 2. So the entire product machinery and the entire organization of 200 people focused on a new product to get that order. Omicron variant came in, lockdown started coming in, supply chain shortage started coming in. A chip that was $0.25 became $2.5. And the overall cost of production shot up by literally 30–40% in terms of, and availability of chips was a big question mark. I mean, you could not get chips. Even the biggest of the biggest brands were not able to get chips in time. Whether you're placing big orders, I remember some of the biggest brands in India, they were told this year you're not getting chips. They had to postpone their product launches. We, at that point of time, in an interdisciplinary company where there are 14 disciplines and your product is still not manufacturing ready, we saw that people are stuck in lockdowns in their homes and they are in different, and you're couriering samples from mechanical engineer to electronics engineer to test and software engineer and doing that door to door. It wasn't working and we were losing time and we were losing cash because we could only build 1 product, and these were new situations that came. So we took a very different call, and once I updated my board at the board meeting, this is what we had to do, everyone was shocked. We called all our electronics guys and mechanical and software guys, put a team of 12 people and put them inside a 5 BHK Airbnb for 90 days. They could not go home. They could not go back because it had to be a bio bubble. They were risking their family members and they were risking other members by traveling. We put cooks in there who were preparing food for them, and we put 2 PlayStations for them to just rejuvenate on games. And 90 days from a 3D printed prototype to a complete manufacturable product was ready, which conventionally would have taken 6 months.
And you manufacture in India?
We did pilots in India. We also did manufacturing outside of India, and it was completely overseen by us virtually because traveling to the plant was not feasible. So we had 2 manufacturing lines going on, and it was overseen virtually. Freight shortages arose as a consequence. You were not getting ships to put your product. If you remember 2021, most brands were off their sales target by 30–40% because the ships never reached US. So we took a conscious call. We shipped to almost 140 countries, couriering units directly to the home of the customer in 3 to 4 days because you cannot risk your inventory lying on the high seas and not reaching the customer. You probably, because the shipping cost of $6 became 18, but a courier was getting it to 26, so you might as well take the $6 hit. That's why VC money helps you, and where you can take the extra, and we delivered 99.6% orders on time. The 0.4% orders were Alaska and Hawaii, where there were no zip codes that were given, and that was acceptable.
Awesome.
So
that's a great journey. So I know we are 25 seconds away from a closer session. One last question. How did you basically learn from your US market, and was it a cookie cutter to expand into other countries, or every country is a different challenge for you?
Process remains the same. It's never a cookie cutter. I follow the same discipline of process, that this is what you need to do for Saudi, for UK, for European countries and so on. Process remains the same. The journey is completely different.
And I'm sure you'll have great stories to tell going forward, and wishing you all the luck to make it $100 million company soon in terms of revenue. And thanks for coming, and thanks for the conversation. I'm sure people have learned quite a bit in talking to you.
Thank you so much. I'd like to thank all the Nasscom team members as well, who've been very instrumental in this entire journey, especially Mr. Keshav Murugesh and the other Nasscom team members who I regularly get to interact with. They've been strong advisors and mentors in this whole journey to get there.
Thanks so much.
Thank you
Sneh.
so much.
Lovely
I'd like
talking
to
to you.
thank both.